Hello, Facebook. Welcome to my show, Transparency with the Real G. That's Salome G, and my special guest tonight, Anthony.
What up, Facebook?
Come on in, Facebook. We welcome you to talk. In this last session tonight, we're going to talk about divorce. We're going to talk about being single and saved, because we saved. In the name of
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Yes.
Hallelujah. That is my shout now.
So we are excited to have you on here today. And this show is really about transparency with Salome G. is really about mostly about relationships, but we're going to talk about transparency in our walk, this Christian walk, and the things that we go through. But the hottest topic about this show is going to be relationships, because that's all we ever hear about. Everybody's complaining. There are no good men out there. There are no good men out there. But tonight we're going to talk about some of the things and the barriers that we find from the experience that we have, both being divorced,
Yep.
single,
Yep.
and saved.
And
So to all the ladies out here, I got an eligible man. So I hope you enjoy it, and feel free to ask some questions. So, because if we get a chance, if we slow down enough, we will address those questions. So, all right, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit about my guy Anthony here. You're a minister.
Yes, ma'am.
A dad.
Yes, ma'am.
A man of God.
Yes, ma'am.
And working.
All of that. And a
got
job.
A car?
Look at that.
You got a
car and a place. And a home.
Come on now.
Was it a trifecta?
I don't know. Black man. I'm just saying. No, but anyway.
1, 2, 3, 4. That's like 5 things.
I know, but you got a lot of experience.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about how old he is.
Yeah.
But he has experience just with this life, just like the rest of us. And you know what? I can get on here, women can get on here, but I already know how y'all roll. When y'all see a man, y'all are going to be in tune and listen. And I know this man personally. I've heard him preach. And I know that we laugh a lot and we trip. But he has a lot of wisdom when it comes down to it. When he can get serious, he got a lot of jokes. He got a lot of jokes. This is our Valentine's Day special for you, for those of y'all who's been on his page. But he got a lot of jokes, but that's okay. We're gonna talk about being single, just being divorced. Like, how's that been going for you?
It's been an adjustment. You know what I mean? It's nobody wakes up and says, "Hey, I want to be divorced," but it's been an adjustment. And just adjusting and rocking with what comes my way, and just living life.
Yeah,
it's life after divorce.
It is
good life.
You know what I'm finding out?
What's that?
I'm finding out that a lot about myself, and I'm finding out that I have a lot of fun by myself.
Oh yeah.
I even found out that I like myself.
See, she said I like myself. I love me some me.
I love me some me,
man.
In my privacy, in my privacy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I find that being divorced and re-entering single life, you kind of be in the beginning of it. I myself, I was quite discombobulated.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like, what I spent the most of my adulthood married. And then I remarried right after that. I would call that a rebound marriage that I'm still trying to get expunged off my record.
Oh man!
But no offense to the ex, but we already know what it. Okay, all right. But because being so discombobulated, you don't realize that there is more to life than just being married. But then you start to filter through all of the things that you used to know and realize that there's a true purpose behind being married.
Yeah.
So, and I want your expertise when it comes down to what do you being a man of God, hearing the word and being under the word. How would you put into words purpose for marriage?
Ooh, wow, man, you just really said it. And I didn't find this out until later on in life. The real purpose for marriage is to be able to reach that purpose, your purpose in life. The Bible talks about being fruitful and multiplying, things of that nature. that's more than just children. You know, that's the fruit that you're bearing throughout your walk, throughout your life or whatnot. So that hook up with someone who, you know, that is on the same path, you're going to bear much fruit, you know, and the both of you are walking, you know, in the Lord and walking in the right way, you know, then that's, you know, that's really the purpose, really, you know.
I agree. And you know, a lot of what I found out about purpose, just to add on to some of the things that you were saying, pretty good points about being married, is also being an accountability partner.
Yeah.
Being accountability, you know, I for the church folks, some of y'all might need to plug your ears, but I'm going to make a really strong statement here, because in our youth and in our, or even just in our flesh, we're looking for, I know about women, and I'm sure about men as well. We looking for the hotness, we looking for that fine, we looking for that
36,
one
24, 30,
you know,
40.
They say wax your bottom, but I'm looking for the one that's gonna wipe my bottom. I had a client now, and I'm serious, and I know that's a harsh statement, but I'm serious because I've seen people. You get down later in life and you end up in a situation where you're sick, but are you going to be with somebody who's going to throw you to the side or throw you to a nursing home? And I'm not saying that anything is wrong with putting a person in a nursing home if you know you're not a caregiver. But are you going to visit? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when it's good, when I'm looking good, when I'm your trophy, you know, great. But what is it going to be like when my beauty has fleeted? It's gone.
Beauty gone.
and things are not. And I have to pose these. I have to put these things out there. Pose these type of questions, because in the church we make things so religious, and we make it seem like, you know, like these are not the thoughts. No, even in church, you get people that are marrying for the physicality.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And the thing about it, you just hit it on the head. So we recently buried my grandmother this past summer. 50, almost 57 years. Her and my grandfather were together.
That's
and
a
long time. And I've never, man, the level of love, she got sick. The level of love that I saw my grandfather display versus the level of love that I saw him display, you know, when we were kids. The same. It was unbelievable, you know, because you talk about, you know, people losing, you know, the beauty and this, that, and the other. And when she was 40, she didn't look the same or even act the same as she was when she was in her 80s or whatnot. But the way that my grandfather looked at her was just, and how he treated her when she couldn't even wash herself, and he had to step in. You know, that's what love and marriage, in my opinion,
that's what it's all about.
Is all about.
It is. And you know what? Because this is baked. You know, the that we fix up.
All it is.
That we spend countless hours, and some of us spend countless hours in the gym, and we making it look good, and that's great. And I'm not saying don't, because this is the body that God gave you. You should take care of your temple, and you should take pride in the way you look. All of that. But here's what I know. Beauty is fleeting. Love is service. And love graduates. So as we grow together and we study each other and we continue to grow and know each other and continue to get to know each other, you realize that in that, the reason why your grandfather loved your grandmother to that degree is because it went beyond the surface. I'm just saying. Beyond it. Holla if you hear me. I thank God for what the shell that He gave me. I think I'm pleased with it. I'm okay with it. But I know that it's not always gonna look like this, and I would rather be with somebody who could love me beyond this than to be with somebody who's just crazy over this. And I'm not even impressed with that no more.
Nah, I hear you, man. I hear you. And as a man, we are visual people. We see it. But when you get to a certain point, it's like, okay, that's nice, but what's up under it? You know, what's in the mind, what's in the heart, you know, and that starts to weigh on you, because you start to look, you're like, man, I just hit 40. And 50 ain't too far behind. And right.
I'm kid 5 years.
Man.
That's what I'm just saying.
Yeah, you start to look around and you see your boys married and this, that, and the other. And nothing wrong with being single if that's your call. Yeah, it's not my call.
It
though.
is not my call. It ain't on my radar.
Right.
I'm not interested. I don't want it.
Right. I didn't wake up. That wasn't on my vision board this year. But I embraced the singleness though. And that season, and for however long it's going to be. So. We look at the physical attractive. I told somebody this other day, the physical attracts you, but the inner is what keeps you.
Come on now.
So you can see somebody that's shaped 36, 24, 40, if she a sister, and I'm just kidding.
That's the truth.
But but at the same time, what's in her heart, because that's really what matters. And for the long part, some of us brothers, we don't realize that until we do get in our late 30s or maybe even 40s.
I'm about to say, I don't know about late 30s. I done met some dudes.
It varies.
I done met some in their 50s and they still playing.
Wow.
I think that what it really boils down to when it comes down to meeting the right person, whether male or female, is your spiritual walk. And the reason why the spiritual walk is so important is because I think what helps you get to that level of maturity and in its proper time is the relationship that you have with the Father. And if you don't know my daddy, get out of my inbox.
Right.
If you don't know my Father, I'm going to tell you right away. I don't care how cute you are. I don't care how much money you get. I don't care what you do in your life. If you ain't hooked up with my daddy and personally hooked up with my daddy, get to stepping, get out of my inbox.
He said, see ya.
Because I be getting some strange ones. I'm just saying. I didn't ask for this.
Right.
What are some of the, what do you think some of the hardships that you were unaware of coming out of being divorced?
Oh, wow. I'm going to be so transparent. Loneliness. Like, you ain't gonna hear the average dude say that, but men get lonely too. And not just lonely from, wanting to be able to hug a woman, things of that nature, but being able to express that hard date you had.
Yeah.
And
that conversation.
Yeah, that conversation. And there was times where things happened during the day and I was like, man, it'd be good to just call somebody. Your mama, your sisters, your aunt, they're great, but that level of connection that you're looking for is not in them, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can call your girl, your boy, all of them all day. But, loneliness. I would also say just adjusting to your everyday living. You married for someone, you develop a routine. Whether it's, after work, you go to the gym or whatever, you pick up food, or you might go straight home on certain days and, have dinner and you do this and you're usually in bed by this time and this time you wake up. So you develop a routine. And so now you got to develop a whole new routine for your single life. And if kids are involved, that's even that's a greater routine right there. So being able to adjust to that, do your kids live on the same side of town as your ex, or is it a 40-minute drive? So all these things were things that it was, kind of challenging.
And the fact that you can actually, that you factor in those things. And I know a lot of men, and I know a lot of women that can holler if you hear me. But I know a lot of men, when they come to that, they're not factoring in the kids. And it's not that they're not dealing with their children. Right. They're just not factoring it in. But the fact that you factoring that in and that's just a part of the equation, that kudos to Andrew.
Yeah, I try to do what I can do.
Even with myself being single and after my first marriage, which was the lengthy time, and just being so discombobulated, having two kids, like you said, used to that routine. And even when you get to a point in your marriage where you just kind of going your separate ways because things are not bad, you know that they are still there. So the loneliness that happens afterwards is real.
Right.
Because there is an unspoken understanding that you have with a spouse that you are not going to have with your best friend, or it's that unspoken knowingness. Finishing each other's sentence, that he know when I hit this pitch, or if I'm talking about a certain thing, he can pretty much figure out where I'm going with this, and that's a struggle.
Yeah, it is. You know, and not only that, not only can you not have it with your boys and your girls, you don't develop that with somebody that you meet overnight either. So those are years, you know what I mean, that you don't put in there.
It's years of building that je ne sais quoi.
Yeah, right.
That's the back in the day.
Right. She don't with ghetto French on
we was all French back then. It was that je ne sais quoi, right. Okay? But, you done threw me off my thoughts.
I got excuse me. I'm killing this water.
I know, and I need some, but I'm just going. The pros and cons. Let's talk about some pros. Let's talk about some pros and cons of, well, you kind of talked about the cons of singleness when you're dealing with loneliness. But some of the other things I want to get your thoughts on. I know my struggle is that you face with loneliness. Somebody comes along and you like, I ain't that lonely.
Like, dog, I'm good.
I'm cool. I'm gonna get a dog.
I was lonely yesterday, but today, man, it's me and Jesus. Maybe even John and Peter, but I'm good. I'm good.
So talk about that. What do you think? Give me some of your pros and cons of singleness.
Oh, man. You ain't got to answer to nobody. If I want to go somewhere, if I want to go out of town tonight, I'm getting in the whip and I'm leaving.
Yeah.
You don't have to share your last piece of chicken because your boy like to eat.
Said the last.
I'm so serious, man. So, that may sound selfish.
No, it's real.
You know, there's nothing to really share. You get to focus on yourself. You know, and I love sharing. You know, I'm a giver.
You like sharing with chicken.
No, not the chicken. You can have everything. Don't touch my chicken. Oh, my steak. No, I'm just playing.
Don't touch none of his
meat.
You
got anything but. No, I'm just playing. But you don't have. You can really, really be selfish. You know, in a good way. You know, take time for yourself if you want to go have a spa day or whatever. Man, you don't have to call and check in, see if it's cool. You want to go get a big screen, you know, you don't have to, hey, babe.
Your money is your money.
Right, your money's your money.
Yes.
You can buy whatever you want. Man, there's a lot of pros to being single. But the number one thing that I found to being single, the pro, I won't trade this for anything, is I literally found out a lot about myself. Because you have that one-on-one time, you know, even when you don't like it. You know, I remember a time when I was first divorced, and that was the first time in my entire adult life that I was single. I'm talking like single as a slice of cheese. There was no no prospects that I was
single
trying to
as a slice of cheese.
Velveeta.
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying? But you know, I wasn't trying to entertain anybody, you know, your boys and people at church try to hook you up and all this stuff. You know, and I was just number one, I was probably depressed, just to be honest with you, because it was just
because you had to heal.
Yeah, that wasn't something that was on my list.
Yes.
Was divorce on my list.
Heal people, and that's the thing. Let me park you for a second.
Go ahead.
Heal, and that is so refreshing because a lot of guys. There was a guy who approached me that wanted to date me, and I couldn't really date him because he had only been broken up from a long-term relationship for a month. And I'm like, you're damaged, dude.
Right.
Go get your Band-Aids, get your healing on, and then call me later. Call me in a year if I'm still single.
Right. But no, you're right. You got to heal, and you got to find out what the next move is also, you know, because if you move hastily, if you move quickly. So one of the things that I almost did coming out of a marriage was bought a house, which was the worst thing.
You went through that too?
Man, I
was gonna buy a house last year.
Yeah.
I broke down and cried like I don't want to do it by myself. Yeah.
Because you like, man, you know, your girls was used to living in the house. My girls used to living in the house. I was like, you know, I'm gonna replace it with another house. But that is the big purchases are the worst thing you can do.
The worst.
When you're going through a divorce, because all it is putting a Band-Aid on the real situation, you know. And you know, so I was thinking, I was like, man, should I start doing this? But like I said, being single does have its pros, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
It does. There's a lot of things that I do enjoy about single. I think that because we were made to be in relationship, when God created, after He created the earth, after He hooked it all up, and then He put Adam there, and He created Adam. When He created Eve, it was for the intended purpose of marriage to exist. And for them to help each other, for them to have dominion over the earth, but most importantly to help each other. And I think one of the biggest issues that we have, instead of focusing on the helping each other, we're focusing on sexing each other and showing off each other.
Right.
And everything is so wrapped around the physical realm that we miss on the opportunity of actually building the kingdom. Yeah. And I'm not just talking about people that are of the world, but I'm also especially talking about people that are in the church. Like we have allowed, the reason why divorce rates in the church is so high, because we have truly allowed the world to influence us upon this physical thing. And it's like, and I'm not knocking nobody that work out. I'm not because I try to keep my weight down too. And I'm not knocking nobody who takes care of what they look like, because I'm a hairstylist. I want you to come. Come on in. Come on. It's not that. But that cannot be the main focus. And the reason why I think that we in our age group struggle so much, especially being divorced, with meeting the right type of people to actually engage and getting to know them to have something long term, is because nobody's looking for the right things. And we see the bull crap a mile away. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna shut you down every time. Right. I'm like, you cute, right? You cool, right? That thing was so fun, but I'm looking for life, right? So if I'm looking for life, then you got to fit my life. That means that I know who I am. I am healed, first of all.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? Like my heart is mended, right? So I waited for that, and I'm healed, and I can handle it. Okay, but I'm not only that, I know who I am in Christ. I know what my calling is, so I don't need nobody who don't know where I can't help you if I don't know where you're going, and you don't know where you're going. So there's just so many things. So now, as a man leading, you know what I'm saying? Because a man is supposed to lead in the household. How do you look at the women that you come across, and what are you looking for when you're dating?
Oh man, so first and foremost, it's got to be a relationship with Christ. First and foremost, you don't have to be super spiritual or anything of that nature, but if your heart is right, we can start there. And then we find out, okay, and just being honest, what level are you on? Because there's some things that I feel myself that I need as a man, trying to live right or whatnot. And this is not knocking anybody who goes to the club and they in the church or whatever. But I know for me, that's not something that I could rock with. It's just not, that's not on my list, So I look for things such as, how are you spending your spare time? Do you know the word? Do you pray? Do you fast?
Man,
do you know all of this stuff?
That prayer life.
Prayer life. And you can tell a person's prayer life too. You can tell a person's prayer life. But do you fast? Do you do all of this stuff? And then after that, what is your service like? If you don't serve, I can't rock with you.
Come on!
Point blank, I cannot rock with you. You got to be serving in some kind of capacity, whether it's in the church, whether it's in your community. Maybe you volunteer. You got to do something, because a person that will serve will also serve you.
And love serves.
And love and
love is service.
Yeah, and so you got to have that. And then of course you got to love kids. I got 2 girls, ain't going nowhere. They my heart. So, if somebody that doesn't like kids,
that would be a bad match.
Yeah, that wouldn't even. And just as long as we know that being my princess is bad, I already know. But I get it, because my kids are not young. I have grown kids, but I have grandkids. I have a 4-year-old grandson, and I have a grandson on the way. Congrats. In May. Good
Yeah, we like the kids. We
Right.
like the kids. Okay.
Right.
But anyway. But I mean, and that's so important, that family dynamic, because who wants to be with somebody who they can't even bring around the family? Or when I bring my kid, when my grandkids come around, or if they want to spend a night, you looking cross.
Man,
they're my babies.
Woo.
Okay.
And you just said something there. So, and I'll throw this last one in. This ain't spiritual or nothing, but man, you gotta have a sense of humor.
Oh my God!
Because I will drive you crazy.
Goodness.
I will drive you crazy if you sitting around looking like
can't even take a punch.
Right. You can't be looking like the prune that swallowed the lemon. Because your face is all frowned up. I'm going to be like, you might be beautiful.
Like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Yeah,
you might be fine, but man,
that ain't no fun. I mean,
don't
nobody want to be with somebody just to look at somebody. I mean, it's good to have somebody that you're with, that you are attracted to. But I'm going to be honest with you. I have dated people that were not as perfect on the outside, but they inside look so good that it illuminated their outside. So I mean, that is like huge. Personality is everything.
Right.
But in the same token, if somebody was more serious, they wouldn't want a goofball.
Yeah, they wouldn't.
You want, there's levels of goofball.
Yeah.
Because I'm cool with a joke, but can we have a serious
Right.
You can't.
You can't be joking 100% of the time.
We had a funeral and you
cracking jokes.
You pulling pranks?
Right. Talking about, I wonder if they really dead. You can't be doing that, dog.
Check their pulse.
Right.
Just check the pulse. No, you gotta have some type of commonality.
Right.
So I agree with that. I agree.
Talking about, I saw him blink. No, he didn't.
Like I can see his eyeball up under the nose. Anyway, stop it, Anthony.
Negro.
Like, look at his chest, his raising up and down. I'm teasing.
Right.
Okay. So I'm gonna really go here with Anthony because he makes the biggest jokes.
Oh man.
And I almost felt a certain kind of way about online dating, the way he was joking about online dating.
Oh man.
Because now it is a joke. I ain't gonna lie. Because I've done it. I don't know, for kicks and giggles. Mm-hmm. Nothing ever came out of the most that I've ever got out of online dating was a really good friend that we're still friends to this day.
Yeah.
But funny thing is to and it's okay at our age, and you're busy, you got a schedule, you got your job, you have ministry assignments and just different things that you're going through in life. I'm just talking about myself. Mm-hmm. And you don't find time. You're not out there like you used to be. And when you do go to Walmart, nothing but crazy people.
Man, crazy and long
You
lines.
ain't Kroger and ain't nobody but crazies in there. So sometimes you're like, dang, well, I just want to kind of see what it's like. And you go online and OMG. So before I go into the details about my online experience, tell me what you think about online dating.
You know what? So the way that I view it from a standpoint of accessibility, you meet crazy people everywhere. Online, at work, at church, Walmart, Kroger, wherever. So I'm not against it. But, because it does give you a little bit more accessibility or whatnot. Mm-hmm. Me, I'm old school. I like to, be walking in the park or something like that. And, see that girl over there, walking the dog. And, I go and act like I done lost my dog. Something like that.
But do people still do that? Because, okay, I'm going to tell you what. Now, I am rarely approached. And I know I'm not the only one. I'm hearing this a lot from a lot of women that are on my level. And when I say on my level of intelligence, level of maturity, just, responsibility, stuff like that. So, I see guys watching. Yeah. They don't say nothing to me, so I wonder. I'm like, what is it that, what is that? Because I'm not seeing that no more. You talk to guys, what are they saying?
So, I mean, guys still do approach, in every day. Yeah, it is. I would say this. It is, let me back up. Guys that are approaching you with a purpose other than, making you a number, if that makes sense,
Gotcha.
are probably a little bit fewer than it was 15, 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we do see it. And the thing about it is, just like I know women are probably, some women may be guarded as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a good man in a setting, and like take me for instance, and there's a setting
That was
like
a
a park.
shameless plug.
I know.
Take him as a
I
good
mean,
man.
not, I didn't mean it like
I
that,
ain't mad at you, brother. Get yours.
I-
Get yours. I want to get mine. You can get yours. Go on here.
I didn't mean it like
I'm
that.
messing with you.
But once call me out.
I'll teach
But once you've been in a setting like that, and you start to think, man, I know for me, sometimes I can overthink the situation because I might see a nice looking woman over there, and then I might be like, so we observe.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is, though, you might not have a second chance to observe her if you're at Kroger or Walmart or whatever, because that chance might even come around. Unless she is meant for you, then that chance is gonna come around.
I like that you say that. I like that you say that because I pose those questions, but never under the illusion what's really happening.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I'm not approached a lot. I know I'm looked at a lot. I feel like a piece of meat, but I know I'm not. And I went to the Lord about this in prayer, and I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm getting old. I get it. I don't look the same. I just don't look the way I used to look back in the day. So what's really going on, and what God gave me in prayer is that I protect you.
Yeah.
There is a spirit about you that it's not going to be approachable if the spirit that's coming to approach is not the right spirit. So if it's not coming in the right spirit, spirits see each other before people see each other. So that wall is not going to come down because of that. That's first of all. Second of all, what I'm learning too is that you don't know what that person is going through. So say you see a guy, because I've done it. I've seen guys and I'm like, cute. He got a few checks on the list.
Got all his teeth.
Anyway,
I cannot. My bad. Go ahead.
But all his front teeth at least. But anywho, and I'm like, dang, God. And he might even be in church, and you know this because you've seen him around. And I'm like, why ain't nothing going down? Because I'm not going to approach a man.
Right.
Now some guys say that they are okay with women. I do not believe in it. I'm sorry. I just don't believe in it. And it's not that I think that I'm too good to approach a man, but I just believe that because the word says that he who finds a good wife. So if I look like I'm looking for you, then you ain't found me. So I don't know. It's like, I'm not going to approach. I'm just going to suck it up and just be like, all right. But the Lord gave that to me that you never know everything on the outside might be looking like it's okay, but you're not really aware of what's going on the inside. That person might be more than broken, could be shattered at that time. And one thing my dad taught me years ago about men is when y'all have a lot going on, you can't focus on them.
Yeah, it is hard to focus on when you got a lot going on. One thing that I always say is you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person, which means if that person is that person for you,
that's good.
You cannot mess that up.
So you can't say, let's say it again.
You can't say the wrong thing to the right person.
I like
so if that person is for you,
man,
you can go over there speaking Chinese if you want. It's gonna come out.
You can say Kuna Matata.
Right. You can do the Lion King chant and everything. It's gonna come out beautiful to them.
Okay, I get it.
Because that's the person that was assigned to you.
That's who's meant. That's who fits.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
I got a few more jokes in my. So let's say you get to a place where you find somebody who looks like they're a good fit, and you start this dating thing. Now, this is something I have not done yet. I have not dated Christian yet. dated like a Christian yet. Because I'm like, I can't really call what happened in my second, leading up to my second marriage, real dating, because I was not healed and I wasn't present. So I can't really recall how that, I mean, not, and I can't really call that Christian, but as a man, God. What does Christian dating look like? Because when you look at, and I'm going to let you answer, but when you look at, and I was looking this up as coming up on the show and everything, I was looking at pictures of and you put in dating and all you see is touch and kissing and all of these things. And I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with that, but when you're really trying to get to know somebody, the physical part is not hard. Right. You're going to figure out just like that. All you got to do is lay next to each other. It'll happen, I promise you. Right. But so that part, we can get to that later. You know what I'm saying? As when you grown, you kind of know that you don't have to work hard at making that great. Right. But I is it realistic for me wanting to date somebody and really getting to know them for a long-term relationship, but I don't want to engage in physical.
Yeah, it's very realistic. So in my opinion, Christian dating to me looks like patience. And what I mean by that is, man, and so there are so many people out there who skip the courting, they skip the getting to know stage, and jump into boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever they call it now. They don't even know what you call bay and boo. They skip, they go straight to the bay and boo stage. After maybe a month of talking on the phone, maybe 1 or 2 dates or something like that. But it's impossible to really know somebody, in my opinion, after 30 days. I think and I have seen,
that's accurate.
Yeah, and I have seen issues where somebody dated for 2 months and they got married and they've been married for 40 years now. That does happen. However, that's few and far between. That's slim to none, and Slim's out of town. So that's almost it like almost doesn't happen. You know what I mean? So patience, man, getting to know somebody like, okay, I need to see you in your season of frustration. I need to see you in your season of prosperity and in your season of confusion too. Because the thing about it is, if you are thinking about marrying somebody, you finna get all that. You finna get all that mixed in one. The confused part, all that, you're gonna get it. So it looks like patience, man. And I've never seen a time where people are just so eager to get a bae, post them on Facebook, post them on Instagram, all that stuff, man. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know this person. And for me, I'm an extremely private person. Like, when I say private person, I believe when I do start getting serious about someone, building a solid foundation, before I even bring them around my family, right? It's got to be like solid to the point where, okay,
you sure
this is looking like something that's gonna be about something. So it looks like patience to me.
That's good. I'll take it. Yeah. It does. I mean, and I don't think that even comes with a visual, because that could be separate for that could be done in separate kind of ways. Have you? Obviously, well, I'm not trying to get into your personal business. It's hard to ask this question. He's private, people. Have you had any experience that you would qualify as real Christian dating? Have you been, not saying have you tried it, have you been allowed to with the willing party?
I can't say yeah. I haven't,
Me neither.
And and I'll be honest, man, when it does get discouraging after a while, because you're like, man, I'm about to go get me a dog, a turtle, a pet monkey or something that's going to keep me busy or whatever, But the other thing I found, though, was, and to answer your question, no. But the other thing I found, though, man, is, stuff seems to happen when you least expect it.
What you mean?
Which is good. So you literally could go get you something to eat tonight, and meet that man that you've been praying about. And so I know when I was actively looking, like this was my
Gotcha.
like this was on the checklist for
Mm-hmm.
to do today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, find me a book. You know how y'all get during Valentine's.
No,
I got to be Valentine's,
not at all.
but you know, so but
we dress for Valentine's
right.
Day.
I like my
You like it?
right, to the left. All right.
Okay.
But you know, but no, I can't say I have. You know,
Yeah.
so I can't say what that really what it looks like.
I think I'm finally at a point where I mean, guess I'm not looking. I don't think that I should be the one looking. I mean, I might see some stuff and be like, but I'm not looking.
Who that out?
I'm not looking. But I finally at a point where I'm just cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like I can't say what successfully Christian dating is like. That was a very great description to say patience. I have not experienced that yet. I usually it's over quick. I thank God because if it's not the one, I'm not interested. I mean, 2 failed marriages, I'm cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I'm not cool at this point, get your girl some counseling. Okay. And I did take counseling, but at this point, I'm not so much as looking anymore. I'm learning to just be comfortable in my singleness, but it's like, but I am studying. Yeah. I'm doing a lot of studying when it comes down to relationships because I think that, and I spend a lot of time perfecting the relationships that I am in because I think that your relationships with your friends at work and your children and your parents or the people around you help you ready yourself for a more long-term relationships. So I think that at the end of the day that what's most important is that we continue to work on ourselves being ready. And I believe that even though it looks almost impossible to meet the type of guy that would date me and be okay with not keep putting his hands on me, even though I feel that way at this point, I know that when the time comes, God will send the right person around and that it'll be all good. So anywho,
right.
Final words, Anthony?
Oh man, I would just say, if you are single and you're single, enjoy it, because it is a beautiful thing. It's a good time. It's trust me, there's a lot of married people that wish they still had their singleness right now because they didn't take their time to get to know who they were or the one that they chose or was chosen by. So I would say if you are single, just enjoy it, embrace it. If you're divorced, embrace that. If you're married, embrace that definitely. But everything comes down to seasons in life and being able to really, really enjoy where you're at in life. I was watching, and I'll shut up after this. But I was watching Pastor Michael Todd today.
Like him.
Yeah, on my lunch break, and he was talking about being grateful for where you've been and where you're at, and then that way God can bring you into where He wants you to be. So when you think back on, the fact that you made it through a divorce, and you read so many. Like I know I love to read, and I'll read something about somebody losing their mind, committing suicide, which is very, very sad, going through a divorce where they thought that their entire being was wrapped up in that person.
Right.
And when you think about that, that could have been any of us. Just to be honest, it could have been any of us. And so the fact that you made it through that and the history that you have with God to where you are right now, it's kind of like a slap in the face for us not to enjoy the now. A slap in the face to God for us not to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I would say, man, enjoy life. Wherever you at.
Wherever you at.
Yeah.
And I would say thank you guys for joining us. This has been so much fun.
Right.
You can, if you have questions, if you have comments, that I'm all right with that. Do me a favor. Make sure you share this video because I think that it was helpful. I think that it was great. And I would say in your singleness, and we can all be single and have fun together, but in your singleness, continue to develop yourself and the relationships that you're in. Remembering that as you build in those relationships, the greater servant you become to your friends, the better servant you'll become to your future spouse in Jesus. So I am just, I'm excited for those of you that had a chance to watch this, that are going to share this, can learn from this and grow from it. I'm so glad that Anthony
finally made it happen. Finally made it happen.
This was really great, and I am excited about more to come. I'm excited. This was really God's plan. I really felt silly doing the whole thing, but I was gonna make it do what it do, baby. But I'm just glad for the opportunity. I really hope that somebody is being blessed. I want you to stay tuned. I want you to keep watching, because I'm going to keep posting. I'm going to keep having these conversations. I want you to ask a G. Make sure you go in my inbox, because you might have some things. You might not be able to come on the show, but you might want to bring some situations or circumstances that you want to talk about to the conversation, to the table. Get in my inbox, holler at me, ask a real G, because I got a little bit of experience, and what I don't know, I'm sure the Lord will give it to me. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much for joining. Don't forget to hit the share button, and make sure that you continue to have a productive single life in Jesus' name.
Peace.